Welcome everybody to Tino's Time Wrestling. And on this episode, we're going to recap all the action that went down last night at the Royal Rumble. And it was the beginning of the road to WrestleMania. But let's take a minute and let's be serious here for a minute, people. This Royal Rumble was probably one of the most predictable Royal Rumbles that we have ever seen. There were so many rumors that came out. There were so many things that were confirmed and everything that we pretty much knew what the surprises were going to be. And we just knew what was going to happen. There was really one cool moment that started off the show. And so let's not waste any more time. And let's get in to the action that happened and all the matches that went on at the Royal Rumble. The first match that happened on the card, it was Seth freaking Rollins versus Roman Reigns, the head of the table, for the Universal Championship. And Roman came out first, which was kind of weird. And at first, I was like, okay, Seth is going to come out and do his thing and, laugh in his Messiah or whatever. And all of a sudden, we hear Shield, Delta, Echo. And it was the Shield's music. And all of a sudden, the lights went around, and Seth Rollins was coming out in the crowd, and he was wearing the Shield's vest like the Shield used to do back in the day. I was getting 2014 vibes. It was awesome, and it was something like that, and something kind of cool that was just a way to start off the Royal Rumble. And at that time of watching it, I'm like, okay, this might be a really good Royal Rumble. Like, okay, let's go. This is going to be really good. But honestly, people, that was one of like the best moments. And that kind of sucks because one of the best moments should have been a big return. But we'll get to that later on. This match, though, was really good. It lasted about 14 minutes. It wasn't like the best. It wasn't like a banger. It wasn't going to like steal the show or anything. But it was a really good match for what it was. We saw, there was a few times I really thought Seth was going to have it. I really thought he was going to beat Roman. But it wasn't meant to be. And in the end of the match, Roman decided to try and choke Seth out with the guillotine. And he just decided to, and he just wasn't letting go. And Seth got to the rope, and Seth held on, but Roman didn't let go. And the ref counted 1, 2, 3, 4, and he even waited a second to count to 5. And then he did count to 5, and then the ref rang the bell, and Roman just did not let go. And that match ended in a no disqualification for a match they hyped up very much. And honestly, with the rumors coming out that Seth could possibly win, I was very surprised that it turned out the way it did and that it ended in disqualification. I hate matches that end in disqualification because it's like, what's the point? Why can't we just have these matches end clean? And why can't we just see a good pay-per-view matches? Premium live event matches. I don't want to get yelled at. But it's just like, come on, people. Like, what is this trying to be? And it was such a good match. Sorry, I got something in my nose or something. My nose won't stop running. Sorry, people. But yeah, I didn't know what was going on, and I just did not understand. But still your Universal Champion, Roman Reigns, the head of the table. So we'll have to see, and we actually will find out later on what is going to happen at WrestleMania, and it probably will be predictable. But we'll get to that later on. The second match on the card, it was the Women's Royal Rumble. And we talked about it in my pre-show. They had a lot of women that were announced. There was only 7 women that were going to be surprises. And I'm going to go over and I'm going to read down the list of how they entered. And then we're going to talk about the final 5 and then the final 2. And then we're going to talk about the winner. Because, there were a few surprises. But then there were a few that were like, we saw this person last year, they're not going to do anything. And to be honest, all the people that returned and all the legends besides Lita and Michelle McCool didn't last more than 2 minutes. So let's get started with the Women's Royal Rumble. Sasha Banks was the first entrance, the legit boss, number 1. She did her thing. She came out, she was looking phenomenal. And then number 2 entrant was Melina, Her music hit, the red carpet came out. I was like, hell yeah. And I was sitting here with one of my friends, and he's like, he was so excited. It was like we were sitting back here in 2007 watching Melina, and we were hoping that she was going to do the splits. And my God, she could still move like it's 10 years ago. Melina, you can still do your thing. And it was nice to see her. But Sasha Banks did eliminate her real early on. And like I said, many of the legends didn't last very long. But seeing Melina back in the WWE ring was phenomenal. Tamina entered number 3. Kelly entered number 4. Kelly, like I said, she didn't last very long. None of the legends really did. Number 5, it was Aaliyah. Number 6, Liv Morgan. Selena Vega. Number 7, Bianca Belair. Dana Brooks. Michelle McCool, phenomenal to see her. I was so happy to see her and do her thing. It was so great to see. I love Michelle McCool. Then we saw Sonya Deville, and then we also saw Natalya, and then another surprise, and that this is something that we kind of saw, and it was kind of reported, and this is where I kind of got the feeling once we saw Melina, and then once we saw this person return, the Funkadactyls, Cameron returned with Naomi. Now, if you remember back in the day with Brodus Clay and the Funkadactyls, Cameron was in there, and she came back looking better than ever, and it was nice to see Cameron. But like I said, none of these people lasted more than like 2 minutes besides Michelle McCool and Lita, and it was just like, what are we doing? And Cameron got eliminated, and the next person after her was Naomi. It was like, why didn't they just keep Cameron in for her to help Naomi? And that would have been a cool moment to see. But it's just lazy booking, and Vince McMahon doesn't know how to do anything. After Naomi came out, Carmella came out, Rhea Ripley, and Charlotte Flair. And, you know, I was kind of surprised at this point. I was like, maybe we're going to see a lot of surprises, and we're going to see all these things. But then all of a sudden, 4 in a row, 4 legends came out. Ivory was another surprise. I didn't see this one coming at all, and I didn't even know that she was 60 years old. Ivory, you look good for 60, girl. Keep doing whatever you're doing. It was nice to see Ivory, but she lasted less than like 15 seconds. We saw Brie Bella. It was nice to see Brie Bella. Then we saw I don't know why I keep saying TNA. The Impact Champion, Impact Knockout Champion, Mickie James, and she came out to Cowboy Country, and it was just awesome to see Mickie James and see her come out with that title, and the forbidden door is open. So let's see maybe WWE and AEW work together sometime. Probably not. Then we saw the return of Alicia Fox, and she was another return, but none of these returns were that big, and they weren't that great, if you know what I mean, where it's like, we're waiting for somebody like a Trish or a Paige or Bayley or somebody that we want to see that we're going to jump out of our boots. Nikki Cross, after 4 legends in a row, they went to Nikki Cross, and Nikki Cross came out, and she lasted a little bit, but she didn't last too long. And then after that, we had 6 legends in a row return. We had Summer Rae come out and do her thing for a minute. We saw the other half of the Bella twins, Nikki Bella, come out. Sarah Logan, the return of Sarah Logan. We haven't seen Sarah Logan in a while. She had her baby. It was nice to see her and Liv in the ring again. If you remember, her and Liv Morgan came up together in the Riot Squad. After Sarah Logan came out, sorry, I need to take a deep breath, but reading off all these names is kind of long. Lita came out, and then Molly Holly was another one, but she came out as a Hurricane character again. And she didn't last very long, and it didn't make any sense. And after that, number 28 came out, and we were like, at this point, what is surprise is going to happen? Because at this point, nobody big is going to come out. And we still knew we had Chauncey Blackheart and Shayna Baszler coming out. And the person to hit at number 28 was the return of Ronda Rousey. We haven't seen Ronda in a few years. We haven't seen her since she lost the title. And, you know, it's nice to see Ronda back, and it was nice to see her be in the ring. After Ronda Rousey came in the ring, Chauncey Blackheart entered at number 29. At number 30, it was the Queen of Blackhearts. It was Ronda's friend. It was Shayna Baszler. after Shayna Baszler came out and every woman was in the ring and every woman, there was no more entries, the women fought and they did their thing. Ronda threw out some people. Lita got eliminated, sadly. Lita was, that was my winner. I had Lita winning, and that's okay. But the final 5, after all the women beat each other up, and like I said, 30 women entered, it was down to the final 5. It was down to Ronda Rousey, Charlotte Flair, of course, because Charlotte Flair's always got to be in there, Bianca Belair, the EST, Shayna Baszler, and Rhea Ripley. And Rhea Ripley, I was hoping for Rhea after Lita got eliminated. Lita lasted about 7 or 8 people left. But after Lita got eliminated, I was hoping maybe Rhea was going to win. Maybe you're going to see Bianca Belair go back to back. But, it ended up being, we saw Shayna get eliminated. We saw Rhea get eliminated by Nikki. Nikki ended up coming out and coming back into the ring and throwing Rhea Ripley. Maybe we'll be seeing that match at WrestleMania. Maybe that will be the women's singles match. Okay. But after that, Ronda decided, you know what? I'm going to throw out Bianca. I think it was Charlotte. Yeah, it was Charlotte that threw out Bianca and Shayna. And then it was down to Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair. And this was where I was like, come on. I don't want Charlotte Flair to win. And it's not that I don't want Ronda to win. But if Ronda wins, I kind of knew what was already going to happen. And then after the dust settles and after these 30 women beat the crap out of each other for a good 59 minutes, it was a long Royal Rumble. It didn't last an hour. But after the dust settles, Ronda Rousey eliminated Charlotte Flair. And Ronda Rousey pointed at the WrestleMania sign. And she's going to WrestleMania in Dallas, Texas. And to be honest, people, I think she's going to pick Becky Lynch. But I've heard rumors that she might pick Charlotte Flair. We'll have to see. She's going to be on Monday Night Raw. So hopefully she picks Becky Lynch and we see the match that we all wanted to see a few WrestleManias ago. But Charlotte Flair got involved. And I'm over the Charlotte Flair stuff, people. I'm just over it. But I guess it is what it is. But congratulations to Ronda Rousey for winning the Royal Rumble 2022 winner, and coming back and doing your thing and proving you're still a badass bitch. But after Ronda won the Royal Rumble, it was time to see if Dourdrop could defeat the big-time Becky Lynch, the Raw Women's Champion. And people, the match, it was okay. It was 13 minutes. It lasted longer than I thought it did. But we're not going to spend too much time on this. And, it ended the way we thought it was going to end. Becky Lynch did a rock bottom type move off of the top rope and she pinned Dourdrop. Dourdrop squished Becky a few times, it seemed. And I thought maybe at one point I thought possibly Dourdrop could win. But let's be real here. We all knew Becky was going to win. So Becky defeated Dourdrop, and now we're going to have to see if she's going to compete at the Elimination Chamber, or maybe Ronda's just going to pick her on Monday Night Raw and we won't see them fight each other and we'll just see them build until WrestleMania. Either way, I'm okay with it because, remember, the next pay-per-view is the Elimination Chamber. And that's always one of my other favorites of on the road to WrestleMania. But after Becky Lynch defeated Dourdrop, it was time for the match that we have all been waiting for and wanting to watch. It was time for Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar, the WWE Championship. And people, this match, I wanted it to last longer, but I knew that it wasn't, because at this point it was already like almost 8:30, 9 o'clock, and the match, we still had the mixed tag team match and we still had the men's Royal Rumble. And, I didn't expect it to last very long, and it didn't. It only lasted 10 minutes. And, we saw them do some good things. Brock Lesnar suplexed him. Bobby Lashley got put through the barricade. They bounced off the announce table and destroyed the announce table. The poor guys didn't have an announce table the last 2 matches. But in the end, we saw Roman Reigns come out and distract Brock Lesnar. And then we were like, maybe Paul is going to help Brock and maybe, whatever. But no, Paul Heyman, if you watch the WWE Royal Rumble pre-show, he said, I miss my tribal chief. I miss my tribal chief, baby. I miss my tribal chief. I miss Roman. that was a sign that he wanted to have Roman back, and he decided to hand the WWE Championship to Roman, and Roman hit Brock Lesnar with the championship, and Bobby Lashley decided to slide over like a snake, and he pinned Brock Lesnar, and because of the help of Roman Reigns, we have a new WWE Champion, and it's the almighty Bobby Lashley. And that means, honestly, I don't know what the future holds for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. Maybe we'll see a Royal or Elimination Chamber match to see who faces Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania. Maybe it will be Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens. We'll have to see. Remember, the Elimination Chamber is on February 19th, the same week as Vengeance Day. That's going to be one hell of a weekend. Vengeance Day on Saturday, Elimination Chamber on Sunday. One hell of a weekend. But congratulations to Bobby Lashley, and it's going to be real interesting to see who he faces at WrestleMania. After Bobby Lashley won the WWE Championship, it was time for the mixed tag team match. It was the It Couple versus the Grit Couple. The Miz and Maurice versus Beth Phoenix and Edge. And this match, again, at this point, I knew this match wasn't going to last too long of a time because this pay-per-view did last very, very long, and it didn't end until about like 11 o'clock, 11:30, right around there, and I was surprised that it was going over, and I thought usually pay-per-views like this started at like 6 o'clock, but it didn't, but whatever. But this match only lasted 12 minutes, and the Miz and Edge beat the crap out of each other. Beth Phoenix even tried to beat up the Miz. I know Maurice tried to distract Edge, but let me tell you, people, I think the most distracting thing in that whole entire match was how it looked like Maurice was wearing a thong and you could see her booty cheeks and you could see everything of Maurice. Nothing bad against it, and I ain't hating. I just thought it wasn't PG. But please, don't get rid of it because we like that stuff. But hey, I mean, that was the most distracting thing in that match. My friend was sitting over here gawking and just like, oh my God, do you see that? Do you see that? It's like, bro, take a chill pill. The Miz gets to hit that, and he's got 3 kids, and you ain't getting none of that. So don't you worry. But this match, like I said, it only lasted 12 minutes, and it was good for what it was. I am really happy that it did happen at the Royal Rumble and not WrestleMania, because I really would have been upset. I'd like to see Edge face somebody else. But in the end, after they fought each other for 12 minutes and we saw the distractions of Maurice's booty and Maurice distracting Edge and all that stuff that went on, Edge and Beth Phoenix hit the Glamazon Slam on Maurice and Miz at the same time, and they pinned them for the 1, 2, 3, and the Grit Couple went on to defeat and to win and beat the It Couple, and they have some momentum going on to the Elimination Chamber in WrestleMania. I'd love to see Edge versus AJ Styles at WrestleMania. That's my prediction. But now that we talked about all 4 matches, or 5 matches, I'm sorry. It was time to talk about the main event, the men's Royal Rumble match. So we are going to do the Royal Rumble men's match the same way that I did the women's. I'm just going to name the superstars how they entered. And then if there's a surprise or something I got to say, I'm just going to say it. Because if I went in and how they all got eliminated, we would be here for hours. And we don't want to do that because we want to watch championship game Sunday of the NFL season. And, Monday Night Raw is until Monday. And this is on a Sunday. Because, who wouldn't have known that we would have loved having pay-per-views on Saturday nights? But let's talk about the men's Royal Rumble. Because the first 2 entrants were AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke Nakamura versus AJ Styles is a match that we saw at WrestleMania a few years ago. And the match was good, but the rivalry didn't live up to the hype exactly. And let's be honest, Shinsuke Nakamura should have won that match. But, they started off the Royal Rumble. And then number 3, we saw Austin Theory. Number 4, we saw Bobby Roode. And they were acting like Bobby Roode was going to win the thing. And it just, as I noticed people as the match went on, we saw Ridge Holland come in. We saw Street Profits Montez Ford come in. Damian Priest. Sami Zayn. And after Sami Zayn come in, I'm like, when is Johnny Knoxville going to come in? If he hasn't come in already, like, what is he going to do? Then all of a sudden, after Sami Zayn came in, we hear the music, a Jackass theme, and here comes Johnny Knoxville with his crew and wearing some type of outfit and just, I don't know what he was doing. And, you know, I've noticed at this point, it just seemed like a lot of the people that Vince McMahon really liked, like Austin Theory, Ridge Holland, Damian Priest, like obviously, Sami Zayn just signed a contract. We'll get into it more, but it just seemed like throughout the match, the people that Vince McMahon really likes that were staying in it longer, and the guys, you know, like Shinsuke Nakamura, Bobby Roode, other guys throughout the match that were just getting eliminated. Ricochet so fast that it was just like, come on. But Johnny Knoxville coming in and just, I don't know what this was, but he didn't even last that long. And it just did not make any sense. Yeah, he had an entertaining second. And yeah, I know it was there just to promote Jackass. But you took a spot away from somebody like Braun Breaker, Tommaso Ciampa, Pete Dunne, LA Knight, Cameron Grimes. We could have seen so many NXT stars, and we didn't even see any NXT stars. And the guys that were surprise entrants we'll get to later on when I get there in telling you all the guys that were in the Rumble. It wasn't exciting at all. After Johnny Knoxville came in, Angelo Dawkins of the Street Profits, we saw Omos come in, and Omos came in and he was throwing people out left and right, and he was just like, oh my god, I'm going to do my thing, and I think I'm the best. After Omos came out, Ricochet, I just mentioned Ricochet, he didn't last too long of a time. He lasted a decent amount of time, but not too long. Chad Gable after Ricochet, and after Chad Gable came out, we saw Dominic Mysterio enter a second Royal Rumble, and when Dominic came out, it took about 7 people to eliminate Omos, and that was just like, I was in shock because I was like, really, it's going to take this many people to eliminate this guy? Okay then, but I mean, it is what it is. But Omos ended up being eliminated by like 6 guys, and I was just like, thank God, because I thought Omos was going to win at some point, but I'm just happy he didn't. After Dominic came out, we saw Happy Corbin, Baron Corbin come out. Then we saw Dolph Ziggler of the Dirty Dogs, the second half of the Dirty Dogs. Then we saw the Celtic Warrior Sheamus come out. And, you know, at this point, I was really hoping that we were going to see Ridge Holland because he started to be that guy that was going to last a little bit long. And then he got eliminated, but he just still did put on a good show. And to be honest, people, I could see him having a big part in WrestleMania. And maybe he'll win the Andre the Giant Battle Royal if they do it this year. After Sheamus, we saw Rick Boobs, the guitar playing for Shinsuke Nakamura. After Boobs, or Boogs, whatever, however you want to say his name, we saw Riddick Moss. It was like back-to-back of like, what is this? There's 2 more spots that could have been given to guys that are better and worth it. After those 2 came out, we saw Riddle, my bro Matt Riddle came out, and then we saw the return. We haven't seen him in a minute. Drew McIntyre. And not hating on Drew McIntyre, but I wanted to see somebody come on. I wanted to see a pop. I wanted to see something explosive. And don't get me wrong, I love my man Drew McIntyre, but his return, it was not like as exciting as like Edge's return. After Drew McIntyre, we saw Kevin Owens come out. After Kevin Owens came out and he did a few stunners, we saw Rey Mysterio come out, and earlier before Rey Mysterio came out, Dominic got eliminated by Kevin Owens and by Sheamus and by a few people, and it was just like, why didn't we see Dominic and Rey face off or be next to each other or even team up for a second? It just didn't make any sense to me. After Rey Mysterio, we saw Kofi Kingston, one half, third half of the New Day, come out, and I was waiting for him to see him do something crazy. And at one point, he got thrown out, and I think he landed wrong, because I don't think it was supposed to happen that way, because his feet touched the ground, and I just don't think it was supposed to happen that way, and I think that was a botched spot, and I wouldn't be surprised, because let's be real, like, it's botch city everywhere, like Suplex City is botch city everywhere. But hopefully Kofi is okay and we can see him on Friday Night SmackDown this week. Otis, second half of the Raw Tag Team Champions, Chad Gable. entered earlier on. No chin. Otis was in the match, and that poor guy went from banging the NXT Women's Champion to having no chins and being on a tag team with a Kurt Angle wannabe. But okay, I guess. After Otis, we saw Big E return. Not Big E return. But we saw Big E come out and do his thing, and I was excited to see Big E because he was my pick, and I thought Big E could possibly win it, and that would be really cool because, Big E deserves it. But after Big E, the next two entrants, and at this point, we knew Ridge Holland wasn't announced. We knew Drew McIntyre wasn't announced. And then there was one more person that I can't remember. Oh, yeah, okay. We'll get to that. He was number 30. But so the only two people at the time that were surprises, because remember, there were only 5 surprises. It was Ridge Holland and Drew McIntyre. And at that point, I'm like, come on, where's like The Rock or John Cena or something? But we saw the return, and don't get me wrong, I love this guy. We saw the return of Bad Bunny. And not that I don't love Bad Bunny, and you could do your thing, but we know you're going on tour, and we know you're probably not going to be around, and it was just not like that shocking of a surprise because we also saw reports. So after Bad Bunny came out, we're like, okay, who's the surprise going to be? And then it was money, money, money. Here comes the money. It's Shane McMahon. Like, we want to see a 54-year-old, 60-year-old, however old Shane McMahon is. We want to see this guy come out there and beat up a couple people. And then he looks like my uncle out there. He looks like Mrs. Dad out there trying to wrestle. But it's just like, come on. Like, I wanted to see somebody big. Where's LA Knight, Braun Breaker? Where's somebody that actually matters and that we can push in WWE? Not these guys that because Vince doesn't want to call anybody or doesn't think that anybody is ready. It's ridiculous to see that these were the surprises. And at this point, I knew Randy Orton was one guy left. And there was one more surprise. So I'm like, okay, maybe, like, let's not get my hopes up too much, but maybe we'll see an NXT guy or whatever it is. And at number 29, we saw Randy Orton RKO come out, and he did his thing a little bit. We saw Matt Riddle do a flying RKO. We saw Kevin Owens stun a few more people before he got eliminated. Drew McIntyre was still laying out there. Rey Mysterio ended up getting eliminated, sadly. But after Randy Orton entered, I was like, okay, who's going to be the number 30 entrance? And my friend goes, okay, it's starting. I'm like, 10, 9, 8, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Who's it gonna be? Thugonomics, Word Life. Can you smell what The Rock is cooking? Is it the Hurricane? Is it X-Pac? Is it the game? Is it, I'm sexy? No, it's fucking Brock Lesnar. Are you serious? Brock Lesnar lost the championship match and you bring him out to enter number 30. I know we've had this happen in the past, but you have so many superstars you can come out and bring out, and those are the surprises that Vince McMahon comes up with. I don't mean to be very, negative about it, but that is ridiculous to have those as the surprises in the Royal Rumble. But, I guess, what are we going to do, and what are we going to expect from Vince McMahon that always lets us down? Sorry, people. It's just so frustrating that, they hype up the Royal Rumble. We're going to see surprises. We're going to see all these things. And the biggest surprise in this match was Drew McIntyre returning. And Drew McIntyre only has been out for a few weeks or, a month. And it's just come on. I wanted to see somebody big. But again, what do we expect? We shouldn't get our hopes up anymore. And Vince is just, he doesn't care what we want anymore. It's not about what the people want. It's about what Vince McMahon wants. But enough about venting. After we saw Brock Lesnar come out, Brock Lesnar came out, he did his thing, he did Brock Lesnar things, he eliminated a bunch of people, he threw out Shane McMahon, he threw out Bad Bunny, he threw out everybody, he was just throwing out people left and right, and the final two ended up being Brock Lesnar and Drew McIntyre, and I'm like, maybe, are we going to see Drew McIntyre win? Maybe, possibly, but no. I don't know what the point of any of this was, but Brock Lesnar eliminated Drew McIntyre, and the winner of the 2022 Royal Rumble was Brock Lesnar. And to be honest, people, this makes no sense, and it just, I don't understand what is going on here, and I just don't get it. But we know that he's picking Roman Reigns, and we know that he's going to face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. So, I mean, it is what it is. But like I said, this whole pay-per-view, this is honestly nothing against the matches and everything. There are so many better Royal Rumbles out there, and I watched so many back like the last few weeks and just hoping and praying that this was going to be good, and it just was not good at all. And it didn't live up to what I thought it was going to be. And it was nice to see like Melina and some of the other surprises, and a couple of them, but it wasn't exciting at all. And it is what it is. But I mean, at least it's over with now, right? At least we don't have to get our hopes up anymore. So what's next? What is going to go on now? And what are we going to do? We're still on the road to WrestleMania, people, and even though the Royal Rumble disappointed, at least that is in the rearview mirror, and we're only looking ahead. We have Vengeance Day coming up for the NXT 2.0 side, and then we have the Elimination Chamber in Saudi Arabia on February 19th, which is going to be phenomenal. But before we get there to the Elimination Chamber, let's take a look and let's talk a quick Raw recap. Or a Raw preview, I'm sorry, not a Raw recap, a Raw preview before your boy Tino says goodbye, and we say goodbye to this episode, and we can just move on and hope for better days. But who is Ronda Rousey going to pick? Who is she? Is she going to pick Charlotte Flair or Becky Lynch? I'm saying she's taking Becky Lynch, and we're going to see that match that we've wanted to see for a long time. What's next for the new WWE Championship? Are we going to see 6 men go inside the Elimination Chamber and the winner gets to face Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania? That's probably what's going to happen, but we'll have to see. Hopefully they do qualifying matches, but again, I ain't getting my hopes up with anything with WWE anymore because they just let us down with everything. But we'll find out what's next for the WWE Championship. What's next for the Grit couple? Are we gonna see Edge and Beth Phoenix go off, or are we gonna see Edge come back and go up against somebody like AJ Styles? Are we going to see Beth Phoenix maybe go after the Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch if Ronda decides to go over to SmackDown on Fox and fight Charlotte Flair? What's next for the Grit couple? But lastly, we are officially on the road to WrestleMania, people. It's only 62 days away. I cannot wait. Hopefully the most stupendous 2-night event lives up to the hype, because this Royal Rumble didn't, and I tried to make it the best show as I could, like I always do, like your boy Tino always does, tries to keep the positivity around. But it wasn't exciting, and it wasn't like anything to jump out of your seat for. And to be honest, people, I can't tell you that I probably won't rewatch this one as I do the other ones. But, I mean, I guess all of them can't be good, but they should be good. But we don't want to do that anymore here on Tino's Time. So, I hope everybody enjoyed the Royal Rumble for what it was, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Remember to always smash that subscribe button. Go like, follow at Tino's Time 1996. Remember, if you haven't, go check out Tino's Time Collection episode. See all the amazing things I have around here. Thank you, everybody, for supporting your boy and helping me get those numbers up. I appreciate everybody for sharing, following, liking, and everybody, just thank you for being out there and supporting your boy Tino. But until the Elimination Chamber and Vengeance Day, when we preview all the action and then we recap it all, stay tuned for some Tino's Time toy hunt and figure reviews as I show you more of my collection as it comes in the mail, because I constantly keep ordering things and it just never is going to stop. So again, for the last time, until February for the two pay-per-views that are going to go down, this is your boy Tino signing out.